Help.
Live on YouTube. All right. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone that joins the show regularly. It's good to see everyone back. For those of you who maybe have not joined the show at any time, we're glad to have you. If you know anybody out there that would like to hear something that may be useful to them, you can send this video to them and they'll have a chance to see it then. And when they do, it'll be right there in that present moment that they're watching that video. So today we're going to talk a little bit about role playing. That's been on my mind lately. We're going to get into that in just a minute, but we're going to start with our 60 seconds of gratitude. I myself am grateful to be here. I'm also grateful for all the things that everybody that I know is doing out in the community. Noah and Cam had a big community event last week, helped some kids out. Gave them a little back to school love. That was a good thing. I know y'all all get involved in things. I'd say follow that lead. One of the best things that I did when I got to Murfreesboro in Rutherford County was got involved. I mean, it's very hard to go anywhere in this county without talking to someone and running into someone that's engaged in their community. It's probably one of the most fertile grounds for that. It's almost like if you start putting stuff together, you start looking for ways to get involved. The one challenging thing is where on the schedule do I find time for my event? Because so many people are doing things. So it's easy to kind of follow along and mimic that behavior. Well, let's start out with what we're grateful for. Cam, what are you grateful for?
Just being here and just learning a lot about just life knowledge and more of myself every day.
Okay. All right. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for accountability.
Accountability. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, accountability. I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do.
It's interesting.
What are you grateful for?
Last night I went to an MMA camp and I got kicked in the leg by this dude who's like really experienced.
Yeah.
My leg is still working, so I'm glad that I can walk.
I got you. Did it sting? Did he pop you?
Yes.
Was he just playing with you? He didn't really go all out, did he?
That was maybe like 20%.
He just threw a little something for you. Threw a little something out there for you. What are you thankful for this morning?
I'm thankful for random conversations that I have with people throughout my day that help me keep pushing throughout the day or just elevate me, I guess.
Okay. Looking for those times in that present moment. Somebody may say something to you, pushes you a little way, pushes you a direction. What are you thankful for this morning?
I'm thankful for life. I'm alive and healthy. We're all here.
Yeah, right here.
Everyone's doing here well, safe.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Man, thankful for the present moment, right here, right now. I like it. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about role playing. And this is something that's been on my mind. And I know it's something that we do here and that you guys do here, right? Y'all do role playing, right? Role playing, y'all do that all the time. So tell me a little bit about that. How does that go? You get it over here in the room, you got it, people around, and you get into a role playing game. Set that up for me a little bit. Tell me how that works.
In what sense? Like it's just we're the buyer, one's the buyer, one's the seller, one's the client, or you got an agent and the client.
All right. So when you start role playing, and you say to yourself, "I'm going to start role playing right now," how do you feel? You're like, okay, everybody's watching, everybody's looking. Tommy's grading us. We're trying to make progress. We're trying to get quicker, better, faster with our skill sets. We're trying to do all those things, right? So you're playing that role, and they say go. And if you're the buyer, the seller, whatever it may be, you start playing that role, right? Do you feel inside differently than you do right now? So when you're sitting there right now versus when you're up here role playing, do you feel differently?
I did when I first started.
That's
Now
interesting. Oh, okay. So now it's you don't feel.
Get up there and do it.
Were you nervous?
Right. At first, definitely.
Nervous? How about yourself? Do you feel different when y'all start in the game?
Yeah, when you're in the game, you're focused.
Yeah.
Right now I'm chilling, I'm comfortable. I
Yeah.
don't have anything I'm really worried about, but yeah, I gotta lock in when I start rolling.
Got to lock in when you start role playing, and you had to lock in when you started role playing. Now you still lock in. You just lock in more easily.
Correct.
Right. Okay. What about yourself? Do you feel different when you start that exercise?
There's a lot of anxiety
A lot of anxiety. Why? Why is there anxiety?
because I know
Performance pressure.
That's
That's
right.
what-
You're on stage.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that's like, whenever I'm role playing, that's how I'm going to communicate with an actual buyer.
Okay, so when you're role playing, then you're thinking in your mind, I'm going to communicate with an actual person out in the world in this way. In this way. So you're putting that much. What about yourself? Do you feel different when it's time to do your role playing exercises?
I'm a little nervous, but I think it's just because I don't have all the information on like the things I need to say to them. But then again, I think about it too much. Maybe I just need to try to a normal conversation or something.
It's interesting. Have you gotten to the role playing yet?
I just started yesterday, so I did my first time. It was my first time doing it yesterday.
How'd you feel? Did you feel different?
I was nervous.
Nervous.
Very
Yeah, I got you. Okay. All right. So, what other roles do you play? What other roles do you play?
Brother.
What other roles do you play?
Yeah, brother, son.
Brother, son. What other roles do you play?
Dog father.
Dog father, cousin.
Girlfriend, boyfriend,
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah, I got you. So, do you get nervous or feel differently when you play those roles? Why is that?
I guess we've done it all of our life, 20, 25 years.
Just it doesn't take any effort to wake up and be a brother, right? Right? So, what if I told you that your most important role that you play is the light of the world? If I said to you, you are the light of the world, be the light of the world, what would you think? That's too big of a job for me. I can't play that role. How could I be the light of the world? That doesn't make any sense. I'm just, Shannon or whoever it is. So if I told you that was your role that you were playing, what would you say?
Like, what would that look like?
What does that feel like?
I think it's waking up every day grateful, smile on your face, good attitude. You just portray that to other people.
You just are that, right? So when you go into a store and you walk up to the counter, you ever get that feeling where that person behind the counter, what are they? Without even saying a word, you automatically assume a role. Think about it the next time you go to the store. When you walk up to the counter, what role are you playing?
Customer.
You're the customer. You act like a customer, right? You completely forget and abandon temporarily the fact that that person behind the counter, you assign them a role. Hey, you're the person behind the counter, and I'm the customer, and this is how we do this dance. You've completely eliminated the idea that they're a brother, an uncle, a dog father. So do you see how you've automatically stepped outside of that communion of life that can happen right there? You are no longer the light of the world. In your mind, you've now become the customer, right? They've become the store clerk, but that's not true. They are the light of the world, and you are the light of the world. And the role that you play is the most important one that you can play. It is the only role that you will ever play, which is being a steward of that light. You are the light of the world. Jesus said, be the light of the world. Well, what did he mean by that? What do you think he meant by that? Be the light of the world. I think what he meant by that is that you have to understand that you are the light of the world as a ray of sunshine is to the sun. So if you see a ray of sunshine, at what point along that ray of light do you stop and say, well, this is where it became a light ray, and this is where the sun ends and where the light begins? There is no point. They are one. So you are the light of the world. Remember that. That is your most important role. So while you're playing your role games and your role-playing games and you're getting your sales strategies together, you're doing all those things, remember that as you go throughout your day, there are a lot of roles that you can be playing, but none are as important as being the light of the world. The other thing that really makes that happen is when I look at Josh, if I say, well, that's Josh, and Josh has a name of Josh, and he's eating his breakfast, and he has a dog, and he has all these roles that I've assigned to him. But the real purpose he has is to be a steward of that light. So if I assign those roles to him, then I now no longer see his light. I see what I've assigned to him. And so when you think about all the different challenges that humans have and that we have getting along in the world and getting along with each other, I would say that most often it's because we have forgotten that we are the light of the world, and so are they. Because once you give someone the title of store clerk or Republican or American or whatever it may be, you are denying that person's life. You have forgotten the ability and lost the ability to see that person. You no longer see them as the light of the world. So, when you do your role-playing games, think about what is the most important role for you to play. All of these other things move and change, but think about the most important role that you play, which is as a steward of that light of the world. And you know what? You're up to the task. As a matter of fact, the nervousness that you feel when you do your role-playing games, the reason you don't feel that way when you wake up and you're Noah and you're Cameron, you're Josh, is because it takes no nervousness and no energy to be a steward of that light. As a matter of fact, you can't escape it. The anxiety that you feel in your life a lot of times is because you're trying to put things in front of the light. You've forgotten and gone right past the fact that you have that super important role. You cannot deny it. You are one with the source. And every time you try to put layers between you and the source, you're going to find it gets difficult because you can never sort out all of those moving parts, all of those different things. All of the things in the world are going to always be more than you can calculate and you can figure out. But the one thing that you can do is get up every day, be that light. See that light in someone else. So when you do your role playing, don't see that person as a customer. See that light. See that light in another. Because if you can see the light in another, that is love. I love all of y'all. Have a good morning. See you next time.